Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton today. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Crypto Night channel, everyone.
All right, today let's talk Aave. Let's look at it. So before we get started with the questions, we're going to look a little bit at the price action. It's currently ranking at 47. Current price is $92. We have a total supply of 16 million Aaves. So it's very limited supply. It's even more limited than Bitcoin. And currently there's only 14 million. So most of the Aave is already in circulation. There's about 2 million left to be put into circulation. So looking at the 180 days, we were at 250 around April 1st. And since then we've come down. The lowest we've been, I believe, is $49. So definitely a drop, but now that we bounce back to 92, you could have made almost close to 100% on the bounce back. But if we look at a year, we were at $400 a year ago. And if we look at the max, at some point we had reached actually over $661 was the highest price. So it's been following the market. We're in a bear market, so obviously it's normal that it's come down, but it's still doing okay. It's not as bad as some other coins. Yes, in 1 year it's down from the all-time high. It's down 86%, but we've seen many coins down a lot more than this. So let's go ahead with the questions.
Yeah, my first question for you today, Boris, is, what is Aave and what is the point behind the project?
So Aave, you can go to aave.com. They show you their current liquidity locked into Aave. It's over $10 billion. At the high point, I remember it was around 27 billion when we were about a year or something ago. When the market was at its peak. So it's basically a lending protocol. So you're lending money if you have coins. Let's say you have some Ethereum or you have some BNB or some other coins and you want to lend them. So Aave is going to be kind of the broker between you and somebody who's a borrower who wants to borrow those coins. So I have, let's say, 10 ETH that I want to lend. And on the other side, the borrower wants to borrow 10 ETH. Maybe he wants to trade them. Maybe he wants to do whatever with it. It doesn't matter. Now, the cool thing is you get rewarded by receiving an APY. You receive an annual percentage on the coins that you stake. Now, the cool thing is there is no time limit. You can borrow for a few days, few weeks, few months, few years if you really wanted to. So contrary to a traditional loan that you would get from a bank, banks, they'll tell you like, okay, it's set for 5 years or it's set for X amount of time. Here it's different. You borrow for the time that you want. So let's say right now people are talking about the merge of ETH. Some people may have said, hey, you know what, let me borrow some ETH. I will sell them at the merge or right after the merge so that if they jump up, I'm going to make quite a bit of money. Then I'll buy them back as soon as, things start going down, because some people speculate that after the merge, the price will go down. You rebuy those 10 ETH and you reimburse the person that lended you those 10 ETH. So the cool thing is they are over collateralized. Meaning that if you borrow 10 ETH, you need to have something like the equivalent of another coin. Let's say maybe you have Bitcoins and you're going to be collateralizing that loan with the equivalent of, let's say, 15 ETH or 20 ETH. I mean, they really make sure that there is a big buffer in case the market tanks and they can liquidate the borrower, meaning that they will sell all the coins from the borrower. And in some cases, it might be 3-to-1. So you might be like, borrowing 10 ETH, but on the other side, the coins you're putting as collateral, they are 3 times the value of what you're borrowing. Now, why would you do this? Well, maybe those Bitcoins, you don't want to sell them because obviously you're like, I think Bitcoin over time is going to go up and I don't want to sell my Bitcoins to do a trade on ETH. So you're going to use those Bitcoin as collateral and then you're going to borrow those ETH to do something else. So the one thing that we see is the risk is kind of low with Aave because they over-collateralized their loans. And we've seen that in the big debacle with Celsius. Most of these other platforms like Voyager and a few others that lend money without any collateral got destroyed. I mean, virtually, they went bankrupt and now they have to basically sell the company, et cetera, et cetera. Aave doesn't work the same way. Since they over-collateralized every loan, the advantage is you have a major buffer for safety. And actually, Celsius had a lot of money on Aave. So either they reimbursed Aave or they were going to get liquidated. And we saw actually Celsius reimbursing Aave and they got pretty much all their money back, the Aave protocol, because of that collateral. They're not lending money like idiots without any guarantee. And if Celsius had failed to reimburse, and Celsius knew that, they would have been liquidated. So no matter what, Aave was going to pretty much see its money back. So that's really the beauty of Aave. The other thing, it's very community driven. So you have governance and it's the community that actually decides what you're going to do next, what project they're going to work on next, if they want to modify certain rules and certain regulations on Aave. And when you go into the governance, you can vote on a lot of propositions.
Okay, thank you, Boris. I appreciate that. My next question for you today is, how can you make money with Aave and can you stake Aave anywhere, or do you have any suggestion for that?
Sure. So they have the app. If you go to aave.com, you have a launch app button. And when you get there, you basically get to the whole app dashboard. You connect, of course, your wallet. And then once your wallet is connected, then you can say, it'll show you, for instance, the assets that are available. Now, one thing to know is Aave used to run only on ETH. They were called actually ETHLand back in 2017 and then changed their name to Aave. But since then, they've added Polygon, Fantom, Avalanche. They added actually several protocols that you can use directly on Aave. You're not using bridges. That's the other beautiful thing about Aave. Bridges are very dangerous. As you know, there's been a lot of hacks whenever you bridge between different blockchains. Aave is capable of working directly with each blockchain without a bridge. So that's really, a thing of beauty right there. So let's say ETH. Right now on my wallet, I have 0.05 ETH. I could supply this, and I would make 8.43%. So right there, it's telling me, the percentage I'm going to be making. I could also borrow. So basically you have one side you supply, the other side you borrow. So if I wanted to borrow, some coins, and as you can see, the list is going to be, pretty extensive. So if I want to borrow some engine, I can borrow on a variable at 0.9%, but that's a variable rate. Or I can say, no, make it a stable rate at 129. So the stable rate is always a little higher, but it's stable. So it's the same thing than borrowing, a lot in the US where you have a fixed rate or a variable rate. So very easy, very user-friendly. Their interface looks really nice. So easy, you click on a few buttons, boom, boom, you're done. Either you're supplying some coins and you're making some money, or you are borrowing some certain coins that you want because maybe you're like, oh yeah, this coin or that coin, is going to go up. I mean, if they are in the case of stable coin, they don't really change, hopefully. But you can borrow other coins, and let's say you think Engine is going to go up or Chainlink is going to go up, and you can borrow and etc. etc.
My next question for you, Boris, is I know, crypto, there are risk factors. What are some of the risk factors with Aave?
I mean, there are always risks everywhere. The good thing is, like I said, since they over collateralized the loans, the risk is very low. Now, the other thing that you can do with Aave is staking. And here's in regards to the risk. So first of all, you can stake it for 872 currently. Now this rate changes. Obviously, it's never, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
The cooldown period is 10 days, meaning that if you put some coins right now, it will take 10 days before the cooldown is over and you can unstake your coins. And then the max slashing, that's the security we're talking about. So basically, they're telling you that if you have Aave, they build in a module called the funds in the safety module. And that is to secure, basically, in case of shortfall events, up to 30% of your stake can be slashed to cover the deficit. So they have built a fund to avoid what has happened on other protocols that ran out of cash real quick, ran out of liquidity. And then we saw the whole project just tanked and actually pretty much disappeared. That was the case. We remember Terra Luna, that they ran out of money and it got into a big problem. So they're putting this. So the risk to you is if you stake 100 Aaves, that means potentially you could lose 30% of that, but you're getting an 8% reward. Now, obviously, the point isn't to use that safety module, but they put it there just in case something happens. Another thing that's important to note is if we look at the numbers, one funny thing is the fully diluted valuation is $1.4 billion, but the total value locked is $5.2 billion. That means that we have about three something times, more than 3 times the value locked than actually the market cap is on Aave, which makes some people say like Aave is definitely undervalued because 1.4 billion total valuation when you have 5.2 billion on your books. That seems to be kind of undervalued.
Yes, sir. Now, what do you think the future of Aave is, and what do you think is next? What is their upcoming projects? Anything out there, Boris?
Yeah, there are lots of stuff on Aave, and one of them that's interesting to note is the GHO. GHO, that's the stable coin that they're launching. They just launched, on Aave. They're trying to launch a stable coin, which right now, of course, some people are a little concerned with stable coin. Lots of story with Tether lately, that do they have enough money to pay back everybody if everybody was to withdraw their money? Same story with the USDT with Terra Luna. So people got burned a little bit. But one of the things that they're doing is, once again, they are it's a collateral backed stable coin, and once again they're overdoing it. They're making sure there's plenty of money to cover everything. And as an owner of Aave tokens, if you have Aave tokens, you can mint that coin for almost nothing. So there's a whole paper which is pretty good on the governance.aave.com, to talk about everything if you want to do a little bit more deep dive into the Go. But Go, it's definitely going to be something pretty important for them in the near future. It could be the one thing that's going to be attracting people more and more to the Aave protocol. There's also an article that was kind of interesting, to talking about how they can maintain their lead in the DeFi race for the future, because obviously there are lots of other protocols that are in competition with Aave. Aave is ranked currently number 2. So they're doing several things to stay ahead of the curve. One of them is having this tool called the Config, which is for smart contracts. So it's basically a visualizer of all the Aave protocols out there and what their risk is, and so it's kind of cool to check out what's going on Aave and gauge basically some of the risk factors. So they're trying to always do things to stay ahead of the curve. Now, the biggest thing that you can go to see more on what's coming up, they don't have an official roadmap, but there is a site called Newt that actually shows you this. So Newt, it's basically wearenewt.xyz, and it shows you the roadmap for what's coming up on Aave. Some of the things is you see Aave ecosystem add-ons, they have potion games, etc. Now, the one thing you see is right now they're a little bit on the, a little bit on the late side. This is done, the ICA for the NFT, and it's done. It was supposed to be done by Q1, so yeah, but those were supposed to be done in Q2, so they're a little bit late. This one is done, the Rememe, which is an app, so allow users to post original content, and users can remix that content by adding an initial elements to the original content as a base. The other big thing that's coming up on Aave is Lens Protocol. Lens Protocol is a decentralized social media built on Aave. So that's another big thing that's coming up. So they're getting into a few other things. Hold on, let me check that. So that's the Lens Protocol. Not too sure about the colors and the graphics, but the thing is, it's basically the social media that they're trying to build, and that's becoming one of their big projects. So they're already big in DeFi. They do games, they do NFTs, and now they're trying to, I don't want to say replace Twitter, but to do basically a competitive product to Twitter, but that would be Web3 native. So it's pretty interesting if you want to learn more about Lens Protocol. That's one of their big projects, and I believe their CEO is really the CEO of Aave is really concentrating on Lens Protocol right now.
Now, my last question for you today, Boris, and this is a question that everyone likes. What do you see Aave doing in the future, and can you give us some type of price prediction?
Sure. So first of all, you have to keep in mind that there are lots of risks with Aave. One, obviously, there could always be, even though they collateralize everything, to the max, there's still dangers there. You're still talking about lending and borrowing, so still some danger to that side. Second of all, you have competition. You have Compound, you have other protocols out there that do roughly the same thing than Aave. So they're number 2 kind of right now on the lending protocols, and we can look at that on DeFi Llama. Actually, as you see now, they're even number 3. So Lido just passed in front of them, and you have MakerDAO, you have Curve, Uniswap, etc. Compound, PancakeSwap. So basically, there are several other competitors, but they're in the top. They are really at the top. I mean, after that, if you go down, you have a lot more competition, but some of them are not that significant. The price prediction, to me, I mean, obviously, in a bull market, they could go back to easily their all-time high and even reach higher. But they have to maintain some of their cutting edge. They have to bring new things to the market. So here's a price prediction that I found that I think I kind of agree with, you know, maybe a little bit more conservative than they are, but by 2023, and that's on coinpedia.org, by 2023, potential low 237 and a high of 490. I think by 2023, that's maybe a little fast. I would probably say that's, you know, definitely more around the lines of 237. By 2024, it could be anywhere between 454 and 985. Now, this might be more in line, you know, and of course, you would need a bull market. And then by 2025, potentially as a low 907 per coin, and as the high would be $2,048. So if you do a quick calculation right now and you say that we are, let's say, at 92. So if you divide 2048 divided by 92, you're looking at potentially doing a 22x over about a 3-year time period. Now, if we do reach 2000, I would think that would probably mark the high of the bull market, and then we would go and enter again, you know, bear markets and you know, start falling down again, all that kind of stuff. So a 22x is definitely potentially in the cards over the next 3 to 4 years, but that would be the top.
Yeah,
to me.
Yes, sir. From my side, Boris, that's all I had today. Thank you so much for your time and your information. But if you have anything else, please feel free to add.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's at least this project has proven to be able to weather the storm and go through, you know, rough headwinds and problems, and so far hasn't had any problem. It's never been down and it's never been hacked. So that's another big thing. Now, I think there was a bridge with Harmony that got hacked, but it wasn't really Aave's fault. It was the bridge really that got hacked, and little money got lost there. I think it was only around $3 million. So it's shown that it's very solid. It has good projects, but it has good competition. And if the Go stablecoin does very, very well, there is always the risk of government stepping in with regulations and trying to, you know, go against Aave for more regulations or things like that. So these are risks that you should be aware of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it for today. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you, Colton, and we'll look forward to see you on the next Kryptonite video. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, and if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.